At 78, Barry Gibb shares his true feelings on John Lennon. At the age of 78, Barry Gibb is finally opening up about his true feelings regarding John Lennon. Barry Allen Crompton Gibb was born on September 1st, 1946 in Douglas on the Isle of Man into a humble, working-class household. His childhood was marked by frequent relocations, moving first to Manchester, England, and then to Redcliffe, Australia, which is where his musical journey truly found its footing. From his earliest days, Barry displayed an exceptional talent for music, showing a natural ability to compose melodies and write lyrics. He frequently worked alongside his brothers Maurice and Robin, and together they developed a profound, almost psychic bond in their songwriting process. As the frontman and principal creative visionary for the Bee Gees, Barry was a pivotal force in the landscape of pop music, especially during the disco phenomenon of the 1970s. His powerful falsetto became the band's trademark sound, and he was the genius behind many of their most iconic hits. Songs such as Staying Alive, How Deep Is Your Love, Night Fever, and More Than a Woman didn't just dominate the charts. They captured the spirit and feeling of an entire era, solidifying their status as timeless classics. Barry's musical prowess extended far beyond the Bee Gees. He also wrote and produced massive hits for other legendary artists. He was the creative mind behind Woman in Love for Barbra Streisand, Islands in the Stream for the iconic duo Dolly Parton and Kenny Rogers, and Heartbreaker for Dionne Warwick, among many others. His effortless ability to transition between genres like pop, country, and soul cemented his reputation as one of the most versatile and gifted songwriters in modern music history. Within the Bee Gees, Barry was more than just the lead singer with that famous falsetto. He was the group's creative nucleus, defining their sound and penning deeply emotional tracks like To Love Somebody, Words, and How Can You Mend a Broken Heart. His lyrics struck a chord with listeners, conveying intimate personal stories through unforgettable musical arrangements. That signature high-pitched vocal style came to symbolize the disco era, launching the Bee Gees into global superstardom in the late 1970s. Their work on the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack became the stuff of legend, selling over 40 million copies worldwide and cementing their place in the annals of music. At the center of this monumental success was Barry's artistic vision and relentless drive. With more than 220 million records sold globally, the Bee Gees are counted among the top-selling musical acts of all time. However, Barry's legacy is also defined by the artists he mentored and the music he helped create for others. He possessed an incredible talent for composing lasting songs, often in a matter of hours, that were always rich with emotion and substance. Renowned for his unwavering commitment to his craft and his constant quest for perfection, Barry's leadership ensured the Bee Gees stayed relevant through many decades of evolving musical tastes. Despite reaching the pinnacle of fame, Barry's life has been touched by immense personal tragedy. He endured the loss of his youngest brother, Andy, in 1988, which was followed by the passing of Maurice in 2003 and Robin in 2012. As the last surviving Gibb brother, this reality has been a heavy burden. He has been candid about the profound grief of losing his siblings, the very men with whom he built a global musical dynasty. Yet Barry never allowed his sorrow to overcome him. He continued to write, record, and perform, committed to preserving their memory through his music. His 2016 solo album In the Now presented a more introspective and mature side of the artist, exploring the emotional weight he carries as the last brother standing. In numerous interviews, Barry has shared the highs and lows of his incredible life, always honoring the deep connection he shared with Maurice, Robin, and Andy, allowing their spirits to resonate in every song he performs. For his monumental contributions to music, Barry Gibb has received a vast array of awards and accolades. In 2002, he was appointed a Commander of the Order of the British Empire, CB. Later, in 2018, he was knighted by Prince Charles for his services to music and charity, officially becoming Sir Barry Gibb. He also holds the rare distinction of being a two-time inductee into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, once as a member of the Bee Gees and again as a songwriter. While these honors are significant, they only hint at the depth of Barry Gibb's cultural influence. His music continues to find new audiences, with contemporary artists frequently sampling, covering, or citing his timeless work as a source of inspiration. Beyond his professional accomplishments, Barry's personal life has been defined by significant romantic chapters and an unwavering dedication to his family. His first marriage was to Maureen Bates, whom he met in the early stages of his burgeoning career. They were married on August 22, 1966, when Barry was only 19 years old and still getting accustomed to his new life as 1/3 of the Bee Gees with his brothers. Their marriage occurred at a critical juncture, right before the group achieved worldwide fame. Although their union started with hope, the pressures of his career and personal incompatibilities ultimately led to their separation. They lived together for a short time before going their separate ways, and their marriage was officially dissolved in July 1970 after nearly 4 years. While brief, this relationship represented a key period of personal development in Barry's young adulthood. Shortly after his divorce, a new, enduring love story began. While recording an appearance on the iconic BBC program Top of the Pops, Barry was introduced to Linda Gray, a former Miss Edinburgh celebrated for her grace and serene demeanor. The attraction was instant, and their relationship flourished. On September 1st, 1970, which was Barry's 24th birthday, they were wed in a private ceremony. This union began a powerful and stable partnership that has lasted for over 5 decades. In contrast to his first marriage, his relationship with Linda has been a constant source of strength and support. Together, Barry and Linda raised a tightly knit family, becoming parents to 5 children. Their firstborn, Stephen Gibb, born in 1973, decided to follow his father's path into music. An accomplished guitarist, Stephen has played with various rock and metal groups, including Black Label Society. Their other children, Ashley, Travis, Michael, and Alexandra, have each pursued their own careers, but they all share the solid family values instilled by their parents. Barry has fully embraced his roles as a father and grandfather. Today, he is the proud grandfather of 7 who bring him immense joy and purpose in his later life. Despite a career spent in the public eye, Barry has always prioritized his family, and his dedication to his loved ones has been a constant anchor throughout his incredible journey. In addition to his family commitment, Barry has kept strong connections to both his homeland and his adopted country. Born on the Isle of Man and brought up in Manchester, Barry relocated to the United States in 1974, just as the Bee Gees were hitting their stride. He has considered America his main residence ever since. In 2009, Barry and Linda became official U.S. citizens, a choice that underscored their deep connection to their life in America. However, they also retained their British citizenship, paying homage to both their heritage and their new home. Although he resides in the U.S., Barry maintains property in the U.K. and visits often, remaining connected to the place where his story began. One of the most notable events in his American life involved the purchase of a historic property. In January 2006, Barry and Linda acquired the former home of country music legends Johnny Cash and June Carter Cash in Hendersonville, Tennessee. Barry had long been an admirer of Johnny Cash and planned to transform the property into a musical sanctuary, a place where artists could gather, create, and honor musical history. Tragically, this vision was never realized. On April 10th, 2007, during renovations, a fire erupted. The accidental blaze completely consumed the house, bringing Barry's dream of a creative retreat to a devastating halt. Even in the face of this loss, Barry Gibb was not deterred. A new residence was eventually constructed on the property, but the unique spirit of the original home was lost forever. In 2014, Barry and his family decided to sell the property, closing a chapter filled with both ambition and bittersweet memories. Through all of life's challenges, marriage, fatherhood, international moves, and profound loss, Barry Gibb has remained true to the values that have guided him: love, family, and boundless creativity. His marriage to Linda Gray is widely seen as one of the most steadfast and admirable partnerships in the entertainment industry, a testament to lasting love in a world of temporary relationships. Barry's identity as a family man is just as integral to his story as his legendary musical career. Now, in his late 70s, and as the sole surviving member of the Bee Gees, Barry has started to speak more candidly about the individuals and events that have defined his life. One of the most intriguing and long-discussed subjects has been his quiet relationship with the Beatles, particularly the enigmatic John Lennon. For many years, fans and music critics have wondered about the dynamic between these two musical powerhouses. While the Bee Gees and the Beatles dominated the same era, their musical styles and public personas often appeared to be from different worlds. But behind the curtain of fame, there was a mutual curiosity and respect that eventually grew into a connection. Barry recently shared his perspective on those years, finally revealing his honest thoughts about Lennon. His respect for John started long before they met. As a teenager in the early 1960s, Barry, along with his brothers, was mesmerized by the Beatles' revolutionary sound. Tracks like Please Please Me and She Loves You were a revelation to him, but it was more than just the music that captivated him. It was Lennon's defiant, raw, and unapologetically honest persona. To Barry, Lennon wasn't just another rock star, he was an icon of artistic integrity, courage, and freedom. Even as their own fame grew, the Bee Gees held the Beatles in high esteem. Barry has described feeling a mix of nerves and excitement when he first met John at a London music industry function in the late 60s. He recalled how Lennon's presence commanded the room, but what struck Barry the most was not his confident demeanor, but his sharp intellect, his reflective nature, and the surprising kindness that lay beneath his witty exterior. During that initial meeting, Lennon praised the Bee Gees for their distinctive sound, calling their harmonies beautifully strange, a comment Barry has cherished ever since. When the Bee Gees' popularity soared in the 1970s with the Saturday Night Fever phenomenon, Barry often wondered what Lennon made of their transition to disco. While many in the rock establishment were quick to dismiss the genre, Barry had a feeling that Lennon, who always defied convention, secretly appreciated their musical progression. Although they never discussed it directly, Barry later learned from mutual friends that John held a sincere admiration for the Bee Gees' songwriting, particularly their ability to craft music that connected so powerfully with the public. Still, Barry has acknowledged that there was a degree of professional friction between the two bands. Lennon, famous for his sharp wit, once made a somewhat dismissive comment about the Bee Gees in a radio interview, which stung Barry at the time. However, with the wisdom of age, Barry now sees that moment in a different light. He believes that Lennon was often grappling with his own inner demons and used his sarcasm as a defense mechanism. John had his struggles, Barry reflected, and I believe he sometimes pushed people away to protect himself. Far from bearing a grudge, Barry now expresses deep empathy for Lennon's personal battles with fame, identity, and inner pain. One of Barry's most poignant memories is of the day John Lennon was murdered in December 1980. He was in a recording studio in Miami when the tragic news broke. It felt like the entire world just stopped, Barry remembered. It was like the sky had been torn apart. For him, Lennon's passing was not just the loss of a contemporary, it was the extinguishing of a voice that had challenged authority, provoked new ideas, and defined a generation. Barry confessed that he wept that night, not only for Lennon's family, but for the millions who saw John as a symbol of truth. Now, with a lifetime of experience behind him, Barry talks about Lennon not as a mythic figure, but as a real person. Brilliant, imperfect, courageous, and profoundly human. John Lennon was one of the greatest creative minds of our generation. Barry stated, "I feel fortunate that our lives intersected, even in a small capacity. He challenged all of us to think more deeply, feel more intensely, and question everything." Perhaps the most personal insight from Barry's reflection is how Lennon's artistic honesty influenced his own work. "After I met John, I stopped worrying about pleasing everybody," Barry confessed. "I understood that the music had to be authentic to me above all." In finally sharing his truth about Lennon, Barry Gibb is offering more than just a tribute. He provides an intimate and sincere look at one artist honoring another with clarity, compassion, and the kind of profound understanding that only comes with the passage of time.